What is showing up? Who is showing up? How are they showing up? Because these are direct competitors with you. Every blog post that shows up above you is a competitor of yours. Every video that shows up above you is a competitor of yours. If there's anything that is showing up that is not leading them from Google to you, then that is a competitor of yours. So I want you to, if nothing else, at least do that research today. Google what it is that you think people are searching for to find the solution that you provide. And remember, they don't know your name yet. They don't know your business name yet. So you've got to show up in all the ways that they are typing it in, not the way that you think they're typing it in. An example of that, I can see hands going up now. I will come to you in a moment. But an example of that is many years ago, when I built my branding, marketing, and design agency. One of the things that we optimized our entire website, our language. When somebody asked us, what do you do? We talked about branding. Like, our whole language was built around branding because that's what the agency was really built on. And it wasn't until about 2 years into building that business that we partnered up with then an SEO expert. We actually brought the SEO expert on to work with one of our clients and then said, hang on, maybe we need to look at this. Got them to do the keyword research. And we were like face palming ourselves seriously when we realized that people weren't typing in branding. They were typing in brand design. I would never have thought that they would be typing that in a million years, because it wasn't language that was natural to me. I'd always talked branding in the environment I'd grown up in. It was branding. But what clients were searching for was brand design. Can you see how it's kind of the same, but totally different? So when we then started going out to networking events and someone would say, what do you do? Brand design. I can't tell you how easy that little switch made my life, because we put brand design all throughout our website. All the videos we created had brand design in them, all the descriptions in YouTube. So we wouldn't just have brand design in the title, it would be in the first line of content in every description of the YouTube videos, because that is also optimization for Google, right? So you want to have it in the title. You need to have it in the first line of what you say, what comes out of your mouth. It needs to, that keyword needs to be in there. It needs to be in the first line of the description and several other parts of the description, so that everything is aligned and connected to and swimming in the same direction. It's all part of the golden thread. So when we started to brand ourselves for brand design, it made life so much easier. We had thousands of hits now coming to our website that we didn't have before. And we were able to speak the language, the love language that our clients were connecting to much easier, because we were using language that they think in, not language that with our expert hat on, the language that we were using. So I want you to really step out of, and it may mean you stepping a little bit out of your comfort zone of, well, I've been talking about this and this is my language, you know, these are the words that I use all the time. But I want you to get very clear about what are the words that your dream customers are using, because they might be using language that's totally different to you. A final example before we move on and continue masterminding was when I moved to France. Some of you might have heard me talk about this before, but when I moved to France, bearing in mind I'd been going to France since I was 6 years old, and my parents moved to France in the year 2000. So they've been out there now, at the point of making this video, 22 years. And so they moved out there. And so I was going out there more often, and I started to learn French. And when it got to 2013, when I had my real burnout experience, when I walked away from everything and moved to France, I started learning French. I really ramped up my French, because I felt that if I was going to move to that country, then I should learn the language there, right? So I got French courses and I was learning French. And I didn't realize that I was learning a different French to the French of the region that I was moving to. I just didn't know. And so I was learning what they call Parisian French, which is what all of the like Duolingo and all of the main language teaching companies, they'll teach you Parisian French. But I was moving to Brittany. So I was moving to the equivalent of Wales in France. So France has its dialect, and so does Brittany. And I had no idea that there was a different, as they say, patois. So when I get out there and I start speaking my French, they're all faces screwing up and pardon, je ne comprends pas. And they're like looking and they're trying to get help from their people around them. They have no idea what I'm saying. But it was the same words. It was how I was saying them. That was the issue. It was how I was saying them. It wasn't what I was saying. It was how I was saying it. And that taught me a massive lesson about language and about where you are moving to and where you are showing up. Because ultimately, we've got to plant ourselves firmly for one brand, one message, one movement, one you. There is only one you. And we've got to get this one you using language that your customers use with themselves. Because if they don't use it with themselves and they don't use it with you, that's not what they're going to type into Google when they need what you provide. So that's your main focus for today, is go and find out what is it that your customers are typing into Google to find you, and what is it that they are consuming? How are they consuming it? So if you reach out to, say, 5 people that you know would be dream clients for you, or people that you've worked with in the past already, just reach out to them, just connect, make sure that they are using the words that you think that they are looking for to find you. Because if you've got a consistent pattern, if you speak to 5 people and all 5 of them use different words, but there's one thing that they use that's the same, it's that one thing that you want to show up for consistently. And you will want to put some content out for those other things. But just reach out and find out, what is it that you searched for to find me? And what was it that made you take that decision? And they might not have bought from you. So ask them, when you bought that from somebody else, what was the final decision-making thought that you thought, yes, that's the right person for me? Because they might be doing something that you're not. So today I want you to get really clear about that, so that it's you that's showing up. It's you that's demonstrating what you do, and they're finding you. Because if they can find you, then at least you're there for the beginning of the journey. If they're not finding you, you're not in their journey at all. And that means they're finding someone else. That means somebody else has got your money. And it means that somebody else is not providing the solution in the way that you know you can. So it's your duty to make sure that you show up. Otherwise, they could be getting ripped off and left broke and broken, and then they won't have the money to spend with you to fix the problem that they've got even deeper into, because they're buying that from somewhere else and not getting what they need.